I always get inspired by people who go out there and they start their own business, or they are in a job that they're unfulfilled with and they go to another job to actually pursue something with more meaning and purpose, right? 10 years ago, when I was looking to start my buyer's agent business, I didn't come from a sales background. I'd never, run a business. I had never worked in a real estate role before. And when I spoke about the buyer's agent concept to my close friends, my family, and even an outer circle of people, basically everyone in a very polite way, apart from a few, said, "You're going to fail." And I could have listened to all those people and not started my business. But when I fast forward now, I started and co-founded what was recognized as the largest buyer's agency in Australia. I helped build that into a 7- and 8-figure business, having over around 70 staff, and being involved in the acquisition of real estate companies and also selling real estate companies during that time. And you can listen to what people say sometimes, or even take on what they say, and it can really impact your decision making. So I'm here today with Glenn, aka Goose McGrath, who started his buyer's agent business Dashdot recently. He was a student of the Buyer's Agent Institute. I'm Ben Handler, founder and CEO of the Buyer's Agent Institute. Today, we're going to hear Glenn's story. We're going to dive into what Glenn has created over the last 6 months. It's a remarkable story, and I'm teaching people all across Australia how to turn buying property into a full-time career. Let's get going, yeah?
Yeah, sounds good.
We're just going to dive into some questions, and Goose is going to fire away.
Let's go.
So number one, did you actually see yourself running a business when you were growing up as a kid?
That's a really interesting question. I don't think I had normal childhood aspirations for a start. When I was like 5 and 6, I decided I was either going to be the Prime Minister of Australia or a lawyer. It wasn't a politician; it was like the Prime Minister. So I started studying politics. I had like books on politics at like 6 years old, which was quite funny. But I'd always been entrepreneurial. So entrepreneurial of mindset and activity. So organizing things and getting involved and like running events, even in my teens. And so I'd always pursued that. And in fact, I actually left school early to start a business because I was already running events and already doing all this other kind of stuff. So I actually left to do that. So I guess that kind of that spirit and that nature has always been a part of me. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And what really compelled you to, I guess, then become a buyer's agent?
Yes, that's a pretty interesting. Story because, as I just touched on then, I started working in events when I was quite young. That snowballed. I created multiple businesses out of that. And businesses in multiple continents. We ran quite a big operation for quite some time. It was amazing, and it was an amazing adventure. But what I actually, I realized I hadn't actually set up a very good business. It was a very busy job for myself. So I was working 100-hour weeks. I was really burnt out. I was traveling the world, basically living a DJ lifestyle, but also working 100-hour weeks. It was pretty taxing. Fun for a few years, but it was enough to burn anyone out. And so it got to a point where myself and Gabby were sort of, we're a young couple in love, thinking, well, something's going to change here. We can't keep doing this forever. So we thought we'd do what everyone does, to try and get ahead. We thought we'd buy a property. And we bought the wrong property in the wrong place at the wrong time.
As you do.
And made a big mistake, right? Which is, as you do, as so many people do. And this is actually like so I always say the three greatest things that have happened to me in my life was shattering my spine in a motorbike accident when I was 14. That started the whole events thing. Meeting Gabby and losing all our money on our first investment. It's like, okay, why? Because what that really did was it was such a catalyst for change. That was a real turning point moment where we went, because we could see everyone around us that was making money in real estate. You see, you look at the rich lists and all the property, millionaires and billionaires, and we're thinking, well, what have we done wrong? And it was a real journey that we went on to understand the mechanics of how to do it, because none of our friends and family knew. Neither of us came from backgrounds where there are other property investors in the families. None of that. It just was not part of our community and culture. So we were an anomaly even at that point. So we didn't have anyone around us we could turn to. So we went on a quest to try and understand it. And it was an amazing journey. And along that way was the first sort of time we started hearing about buyers agents and stuff like that. We're like, oh yeah, okay. And then as we sort of realised that our knowledge base was growing and our skills were growing, and we started to then look at our friends and our family and the people around us who didn't know what they were doing, and we wanted to help them avoid making those mistakes. And we realised that we'd moved far enough ahead now that we actually could bring a lot of value to so many people, like literally tens of thousands of people. Because that's the thing, a lot of people get stuck in I don't have 10 properties, or I'm not a property millionaire, so who am I to have an opinion? Well, guess what? If you own one or two, you're already
way above,
way above the average person, most people. And so that was kind of the thing that kind of started it. And then obviously we were sort of quite deep into it. We were talking to a mortgage broker actually who had formerly been a buyer's agent, and he was pretty impressed with the level of research and stuff that I was doing, and the depth of knowledge that we'd developed. And he was the first person to suggest, he goes, have you ever thought about being a buyer's agent? Shortly after that, I think I saw one of your Facebook ads, and I was like, oh, damn, there we go, that's me. So we got stuck into it.
That's awesome. And that leads me to the next question. I've received your emails, and there's a clear mission statement there.
Yep.
Or I'm not sure if it's a mission statement, but it says there's a mission.
Yep.
And it's around creating wealth creation for around 250 people by April 2020. Are you on track, or what's...
Well, yeah, so it's a very ambitious goal, like for any business or any buyer's agency in general. So we did originally set the target of we're on a mission to transform the lives of 150 everyday Australians by April 2020, and we've since increased that to 250 because it's a bit of a for us, our motivation in what we do is to genuinely help people change.
Change in what way?
Change financially, change their perspective on life, change their future, change their story. Because there's so much about what about real estate. Let me take a little step back. A lot of people think about real estate as just being a house or an investment property or something like this. Whereas I don't see it as that at all. What I see is the power of what real estate can do as a vehicle, as a vehicle for change that can help people transition from where they are now to where they want to be. And that's the thing that inspires me to want to help people. Like I don't really care about property. Like I don't lay awake at night thinking, I really like brown tiles or anything like that. What I really love, what gets me out of bed every day is, okay, I know that we've developed the strategies, the tools, the tactics, knowledge to be able to genuinely benefit thousands of people, tens of thousands of people.
And there's a deeper purpose there.
There's so much of a deeper purpose because when I look at my friends and my family that are stuck and not getting ahead, obviously all the things about property mechanics that make it such a powerful vehicle, right? That kind of information surprisingly doesn't permeate very deep down into the normal segments of society. And by normal, I literally mean my friends that are teachers, my parents, my family, all this, like normal people, right? So to have an ability and have a platform to be able to do that, and to be able to spread that message, to be able to help people change is really amazing. So there's part of it that we want to encourage a new thought. But again, it's not even just about stacking cash. It's not like, oh yeah, we'll buy houses and we'll get rich. What can really transition is the thought, like break down people's limiting beliefs around themselves, what they can be, and the impact that they can have on the world.
It's a big area.
It's huge. It's huge because once you can break down their limiting beliefs around their capabilities and open them up to a future of hope and possibility, joy, abundance, and choice, that inspires them and fills them. When you get down to their why, they start to get inspired to go, well, actually, I really want to give back to the community, or I want to do all these kind of things. I mean, some of our clients that we're working with, literally, they're just like, Goose, awesome, so glad I found you. This is where I'm at. I want to build a property portfolio of like 50 properties in the next 10 years. I'm like, why? They're like, because we're going to start a charitable trust in this country, in this country, in this country, set up women's refuges, education programs. Their why is just like, boom.
And they're clear on it.
They're super clear, So for some people, it's like, awesome vehicle to get them there, and other people it's to help them understand that they can create a better life.
You strike me as a vulnerable person. Have you always felt like you've been vulnerable, or is it something that you've acquired over the years?
I think I'm not sure whether I've always been vulnerable. I think it's a dichotomy within myself to some degree, because a lot of people see me as being quite boisterous and you know, I guess loud and active and stuff like that. But I've always had a deep feeling that, you know, I've got something to share, and part of being able to share that is actually breaking down my own barriers and being able to be real. I think a lot of the problems that people have in general in life is that they get blocked by their own mental barriers. I mean, like, for context, I was the first male in my entire extended family to hug another male family member. That was the kind of environment I grew up in. I was like, no, we've got to break this down, you know, like, and I believe in a connectivity, and I believe that we can all, you know, create a better place for each other, for sure. And I think that's what comes through.
Yeah, nice. And I mean, you obviously strike me as a passionate person as well, someone who likes to educate, student mindset. Is there a particular book at the moment that the entrepreneur grind is hard, as we all know? It's hardcore. It's volatile. There's bad days. There's sick days. There's great days. Is there a particular book that's been ultra helpful for you to really allow you to grind through the journey that you refer to?
Short answer is no. There isn't like a book that I always go back to and go, oh, that's the one. The way I see, I would say that there's a few, and I'll talk about a couple of them because they're all sort of in context. The entrepreneurial journey is non-linear, and it's not even like, okay, I've got to get good at sales or I've got to get good at marketing. There's no one thing, not really. So the way I see the books that have really helped me along the way, they're guides in my story. You know, so if you look at Donald Miller's story brand, it's an amazing book. It's an amazing book that talks about the story journey of how to build a brand and how to communicate your message and all of that kind of stuff. And what that book will actually talk about is how, you know, you need to stop being the hero, because you're the hero in your own story. I'm the hero in my own story. So stop trying to be the hero in other people's story, but position yourself as the guide, right? Someone who's there to help them on their way. It's really interesting kind of psychology. So when I think about the books, you know, even in the last, 8 to 12 months, I see them as being the guides that arrived at the right time.
Like teachers.
Like teachers, like teachers. You know, so was it, I can't remember his name, but Ready, Fire, Aim. You know, I read the first 4 chapters of that 8 times. Just the first 4 chapters, 8 times. Because that was exactly what I needed for that point in the journey. You know, there's Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, which has been amazingly formative. It's great. You know, there's all kinds of other stuff. Right now, The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Halliday, because
he does the Ego as the Enemy as well.
He does Ego as the Enemy as well, and I think that's kind of.
It's a very good book.
It's a great,
very good book.
It's a great book. I mean, to be honest, I only started it this week, but I was really stressed out, overwhelmed. You know, I hadn't actually clocked how overwhelmed I was. But there's so much going on, and I'm like, And I opened up the book, I started reading, and I said, kind of, because it's all about stoicism, right? And understanding that the obstacles we face are literally the things that are creating the greatness within us.
Correct. And when you can change your perspective and get awareness around all that, it's a game changer.
Oh, it's insane.
Obstacle comes, you're like,
bring it on. Yeah. Which, and the reason it resonates with me is because that's what my mindset has pretty much been anyway. I just hadn't quite just kind of formed it and gone, oh, great. And sometimes you need to reinforce that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can be the fittest guy at the gym, but guess what? At some point, you're probably going to need a personal trainer.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So I've always been quite resilient, and I've always gone. You know, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my business journey, in my life journey, and always have been able to move back to a place where I've gone, wow, okay, this is an amazing opportunity to overcome a challenge. Yeah. And that's when you can do that. That is the most empowering thing. When you can see that and go, I'm not going to die, and this is just going to be this is part of my transformative journey, and it's a big commitment to go through, and it's an amazing place to be. But as I say, being able to reinforce that and to be able to get that position again is really good. So yeah,
I remember when we first spoke, I was on the way to Singapore, and you were talking me through your journey of what you'd been up to with your current business at the time. You share with me you've been somewhat burnt with some education courses or a course before, and you're skeptical around what I was doing. Looking back then, in terms of what journey you were going to embark on for yourself and Gabby regarding becoming a buyer's agent and running a business, did you think your business now would scale so quickly?
No. That's the short answer, is no. We didn't really know what to expect. And I think there's I'm the type of person that goes from 0 to 100 in everything. So when we first started out, we were thinking, maybe we could get like one client a month. If we got one client a month, that's
12 a year.
Yeah, 12 a year. In fact, 10 a year. 10 a year. 10 in a year is our goal. We were like, we could just live at the beach, life's going to be good. We'll be making bank, and somewhere along the way, that changed to 250 in the first year. So you can see our mindset scaled, and I think that's also, that suits us and what we want to do and part of our journey. But that's not for everyone either. I mean, I actually speak to a lot of buyers agents, and in fact, quite a lot of people who are thinking about being buyers agents that will contact me before they contact you even, and go, we've seen you. Like, what can you tell me, right? And my question is always, well, what do you want to do?
Yeah, what's your goals?
Yeah, what are your goals? It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I can tell you the struggle and I can tell you this, but what's your current position? Where do you want to go? How fast? Why? And these are very unique things. And so we want to go. We've got aspirations to grow even bigger, a lot bigger.
How many clients are you working with now?
Right now, about 25.
I find it just incredible that you forecast one a month, let's call it 10 for the year.
Yeah.
And then you're over 20 right now, and haven't even been operating 6 months, correct? Full time?
Full time since about 6 months.
6 months. It's impressive.
Less than 6 months, yeah.
It's very impressive. What advice would you give to someone starting out to become a buyer's agent now?
Honestly, I'd probably say don't do what we did. So to give some context, I would say understand that it's going to be a lot harder than you initially thought. We signed on our first 2 clients and we thought, we're on. This is great. This is game on. And basically cast ourselves onto the journey without a safety net, which was risky. Through sheer tenacity, grit, resilience, we've managed to do what we're doing now. I wouldn't recommend that for most people. So when people ask me, what should I do? I have people asking me, should I do it myself? Should I go work for an agency? Almost on a weekly basis, I'll be talking to someone, giving them advice who's wanting to start. It's awesome.
You're popular.
Yeah, it's awesome.
With a moustache.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's awesome. I love it. I'm more than happy to do that because I care about wanting to help people on their journey, right? So, and I think it really depends on who they are and where they're at. And I guess. The biggest thing I think people have got to understand is that property is the easy part.
I always say that buying property is the easiest part of the role.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah, buying property is easy, and everyone gets a bit caught up with the property part,
the data and what to do, and
which is awesome. You want to provide an amazing value service to your clients and all of that kind of stuff. But you could find the best deals on the planet. But if you don't have any clients,
you haven't got a buyer's agent
mate,
business.
you're gonna starve. Forget about the business. You're going broke. It's that simple.
I have people who call me up who own 20 properties.
Yep.
And I say, you could own the largest portfolio, you could find the best deals, but if you don't have one client, you don't have a buyer's agent business.
100%. And that's actually been the biggest thing for us. Is 90% of our focus, marketing and sales. And I think that's the one big bit of advice that I want to give to people is marketing and sales. And people, I'm not a salesperson. Sales is sleazy. It's not. Without sales, you go broke. So cool. If you want to have it as a hobby, there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally cool. You know, if you're financially stable, you don't need the work. You want to do it because you know you like talking to people about houses, and it becomes a bit of a cottage business. No problem there. It doesn't need to be some scalable empire kind of thing. It can just be that. But if you're trying to create a business, a resilient business that is actually going to survive, then sales and marketing. Sales and marketing, and get good at it.
Focuses on.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, I mean, some people just don't understand that. If you no leads, no sales, and then you need to market once you have sales to grow your business. And it applies to any business across any industry and any sector. Yeah. And it's that simple.
Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing, like which way does it go around sales and marketing? So what you just said there was sales until you can afford to do the marketing. But the reality is that there is free marketing. You can everything you're doing is marketing. Correct. So the way to sort of think about it is not, oh, I'm going to do marketing. I'm going to take out a paid ad in the newspaper. That's a form of marketing. But not everything has to be paid. You've got to think about marketing as what is the story or what is the journey that any potential client, whether they be your mum's work friend, right, or whether it be someone who's seen you on the internet, or however it is, right, or a referral. What is the journey that is going to lead them to you and to want to work with you? Like, what is that transitionary story? Who are you to them? Yeah. So, and that's the kind of thing, and that will get more developed over time. But if you go, oh, well, it's just about sales and not about marketing. So let's say I meet you for the first time. You've been referred to me, and we meet at a cafe, and I go, oh, hi, I'm good, so I can buy you a house. It's this much. It is marketing. There's going to be some marketing beforehand. There's going to be touch points and phone calls and emails and follow-ups and case studies and here's a bit about me.
They complement each other.
Yeah. So the way to think about marketing is like if you're playing golf. Marketing is the driver. Right? So if you get a good drive, you can land your golf ball right on the green, right next to the hole. And then it's just a simple putt. That's the sales. Yeah. So the more that you can develop and work those muscles, it becomes less about trying to sell people and becomes 100% about just trying to help people. Because the people that are arriving on your green are there asking for help. And it's a very different conversation to have. And I think that's been one of the biggest journeys that we've gone on, rather than like, hey, we're a buyer's agent, we can help you buy a house, do you want to buy houses? To going, okay, we recognise that you've got bigger picture goals, visions, hopes, dreams, desires, and fears. We want to help you and move from where you are now to where you want to be. And it's a very different conversation to have.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking earlier about purpose, and I opened up talking around, when I was looking to start the business, the buyer's agent business, the model at that stage, the concept was very young. And so when I told people that I knew what I was doing, I didn't come from a sales background. I'd never run a business, and I didn't work in a traditional real estate role. So people were basically kindly saying, you're going to fail. And my purpose was, I just believed that buyers in this country were heavily misrepresented. I was like, over 50,000 real estate agents. At that time, less than 300 buyers agents. What the This doesn't stack up. The buyer is talking to a real estate agent, and the real estate agent represents a vendor. Yeah. And so I was able to go against what people were telling me because I was so passionate about giving power back to the buyer and changing the game in this country. And I believe buyers are heavily misrepresented in this country. What excites you most about this buyer's agent revolution that's going on?
I definitely think the market differentiation is a big thing. 75,000-ish real estate agents, and about 450 now?
810.
Buyers agents? Yep. 810. Well, there you go. I mean, it's still it
doesn't stack.
It doesn't stack, and here's the thing as well. You don't need to worry about competition. There are literally millions of Australians who want to buy property right now, today. Yeah. And there's 800 odd buyers agents.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
I'm sorry. I'm more than happy to collaborate with other buyers agents to talk. Hey, what's working for you? What's working for you? Because my story is different to their story, so there's not going to be a crossover and an overlap. So we don't need to worry about that.
And they can't copy your personality.
No, you can't copy someone's story. I mean, you could try, but it's not going to work. And so I think the thing that excites me most is the growth potential for us. We're trying to build a scalable business. We want to. That's what we want to do. It suits us. But the business adventure is one part of it, but the desire to be able to have a message to be able to spread. You know, the business is a vehicle for change as well, just like real estate is. So it's all kind of meta in and of itself, and that's what excites me. You know, the thrill of the roller coaster of business, and the opportunity to meet with people to genuinely transform their lives.
It's a very opportunistic time. It's a privilege, I think, to be working in this buyer's agent sector right now for people.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, you know, if you look at any of the great businesses and great wealth builders, they've always taken an opportunity in the market. You know, you look at the digital marketing space, for example. I mean, it's saturated. It's so saturated. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a digital marketer and can help you with Facebook ads. You look at the fitness space, same thing. You know, there's fitness pros, there's fitness coaches, there's all the kind of thing. But the buyer's agent sector, or real estate sector in general, is still underrepresented, massively underrepresented. And I think that you know, even if you look at like J.D. Rockefeller, you know, he made all of his money by positioning himself at a moment in time where everybody else didn't want to be in the market. Yeah. You look at people like Warren Buffett, you know, be fearful when everyone else is greedy and greedy when everyone else is fearful. These are symptomatic conversations around the same idea. Look at where there's a gap, see the opportunity, and be brave enough to walk forward and to take that opportunity.
Yeah, and that's what you've done.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Talking about Gabby, your partner.
Yep.
I know it's
legend.
Yep, legend. I know it's challenging, or can be challenging, working together with your partner in a business. Yep. How's that arrangement going for you guys?
It's awesome.
It's awesome.
It's great.
You divvy up roles, or?
Yeah. So it hasn't been like so super clearly defined. We have very different personalities. We are yin and yang, like personified. But that's great because that creates harmony. And where a lot of people are, oh, that's a recipe for disaster. We literally wake up every day and we celebrate the fact that we have the opportunity to be able to do this together.
Amazing.
We don't fight, we don't argue, and we have grown enough together to, if we are getting frustrated with each other in the business or finding inefficiencies, you know, that's natural. That's going to happen with anyone. It doesn't matter whether it's your partner, your friend, a business partner, colleague, sometimes even a person down the street. You're going to be like, why are you doing that? Yeah. We've got the emotional maturity to go, okay, this is how I feel. Are you okay? Why? Is there something? This is how I can see you acting. Do you have any limiting beliefs that I can help you with? You know, and try and offer that up, which is awesome. And that's definitely a two-way street because I can, you know, race way too fast at things, and you know it's complex, and there's always going to be those challenges, particularly when you throw business in the mix. What we found it's been awesome. Because it's such a shared and exciting journey. We've got a shared vision on where we want to go with it. In terms of how it's split up, I mean, it's becoming more split up. I think I was going to say the early days. We're only 6 months old, but we're both doing all the stuff.
As you do when you're in startup.
Yeah, we both just do all the stuff. I was naturally more adept at the sales conversations, more of a conversationalist. Now it's becoming a bit more that I'm positioning myself on the front end of the business. Yeah. So marketing, or front-facing marketing. Gabby's doing the back end marketing.
You're the boisterous one.
I'm the boisterous one. I'm the loud voice box. Exactly. Yeah, but I'll do the sales and stuff like that because that's where the highest and best use of my time is. And Gabby's focusing on strategy, business operations and stuff. So it's a good balance.
What's the single biggest lesson that you've learned embarking on this buyer's agent journey and running this business? I know you've run other businesses before, but focusing on this particular business, what's the single biggest lesson that you've... and it could just be even a life lesson, any style of lesson.
Yeah, okay, so there'd be a couple. Firstly, patience.
Big one.
Yeah, patience. I am not a patient guy. Yeah, I'm like 100 miles an hour all the time. Let's go. But I've had to really learn patience because patience and perspective. Because we've grown really fast, and I guarantee you, every single day I wake up and I'm like, we're failing, we're not moving fast enough, what's going on, why are we no good? And then objectively I speak to other people and
I haven't got a client. You've got 25.
Yeah, there's people going, what are you doing? Like, hey, I'm like, what? We're failing. You know, it's weird perspective. So I think patience, but the other big thing is a little phrase I learned that the way to yang is through yin. And what that means to me, I think is a really important story. So when you talk about yang, you're typically talking about things like money and finance and those, I guess, more masculine aspects of business and life. And a lot of people think that that's where they want to go. So they focus on that. I need, what are the tactics, or things that I can do to make the money I need so that I can have the feminine aspects in my life, the relaxation, the joy, the love. And the reality is that the harder you push into the yang to try and get to the yin, the more you're going to break because it's the wrong way. That you actually, if you want to achieve the yang, the way to yang is through yin. So you have to try and remember to take the time to stop, think, enjoy, love, laugh. And what you'll actually find is when you can actually stop, even particularly in those moments, in those points in your business journey where you feel most stressed, most under the pump, and you feel most like, oh my God, I think I'm going to fail. I need to dig in. I need to do more. I need to work harder. Oh my God, I can squeeze an extra few hours in the day. That is the moment that you need to turn everything off and go and take 3 days and go to the beach.
Just relax.
Just relax. And it all sounds very, woo-woo. And I've always been quite a logic-based thinker, but I've also been an exploratory thinker. So when this was kind of ideas were positioned in there, I started exploring them. And I've actually seen that to ring true. The weeks that we've done the most sales are immediately following the times where we have just gone, you know what, we need to stop or we're going to break. And we've taken the time to stop and think and enjoy our company with myself and Gabby or whatever and taken a step back and then re-entered into the business renewed. And then it's almost like the gates open. And I think that there's a big metaphysical lesson there.
Yeah. We're going to finish up now. I mean, your journey it's remarkable. I mean, to see your business scale into where it's got to in 6 months, and just to see your tenacity, your drive, your passion, and how you're immersing yourself in so many areas of the business, it's phenomenal. I mean, I get inspired by that. Like, this is why I'm doing this now. Why I'm doing this is to actually see other people like you move into more meaningful work and create change. And like you were saying earlier about your why as to why you don't think about property when you go to bed. I do this so people create change in their life. They may not even become a buyer's agent. They may be a banker at Macquarie Bank, but they do my program and then they realize, fuck, I want to get out of Macquarie Bank now and I'm actually going to go somewhere else, and it may not be a buyer's agent role. So I just wanted to honor you and say, well done for what you've done. It's inspirational. And to everyone else who's listening to this, if you are looking to do something different, you've really got to get out of your comfort zone. It's really important to do something with purpose, whatever you decide to do. And on the next episode, we're going to dive into someone else, another buyer's agent, and really deconstruct what they're doing and see how they're achieving massive things. See you later.